A struggle. Yeah, for just like being mentally, physically ready every day. Um, Trusting my work. That's what's got me here. So there's connectivity about it, but no, I have not watched.
Standing over here on my right, Christian.
Hey, Christian Winfield, New York Daily News. I mean, the ending game too was ridiculous. You wouldn't be throwing the ball off of his teammate. You had a while then. Just when you look at the film, what are the things that you guys need to clean up to be prepared for game three?
I think I've done with the lead that we had in the 14-point lead. They fought back and took the leads just to who they are. Us staying composed, this win that game, but we do need to be able to finish the game better. It's just unacceptable the way we just obviously just let that 14-point lead go the way we did.
On your left, Joe.
Joe Hardman from The Athletic. Hey, Jay. Going back to the end of the Pacers series last year, you're walking off the floor in Indiana. How close did you think this group was to this moment? And then, obviously that there was a coaching change, but outside of that, the roster is largely the same. What did that mean to you as a group to get a chance to do this?
Yeah, obviously the way last year ended, we thought we had an opportunity that the team would. And I think what's most important is that every year is a new journey. Every year is a new season, a new kind of grow as a team. I think the way we learned, the way we as a team every single day brought us to this moment. But it's not something to kind of be happy about. There's still a lot of more work to be done. And we understand that. We got to understand we still have to keep learning, still have to keep getting better, even after wins. There's so many more things we can get better. And just keep having a mindset.
Chris, on your left.
And Sports Illustrated. When a guy like you falls into the second round of the draft, a lot of people miss something about you. When you think back on your draft process, what do you think it was that was just underestimated, not seen in you at that time?
Everything.
Jared Schwartz, New York Post. Jalen, I know you might not be looking around just yet, but just what do you think it means for this fan base to have a finals game in this building and for the first time in such a long time?
I think it's really cool. It's 27 years since the last finals game in this building. I know our fan base is really excited. As it should be. But as a team, as us inside the locker room, but we have more work to do.
On the left, Zach, fourth row.
Jalen, there was a video after you guys clinched the finals. Everyone was celebrating. You were kind of just sitting there, like, looking extremely focused. You've been the whole way through this finals. Is there any? It doesn't seem like you allow yourself to enjoy any success. That you're always focused on the next thing. Where does that come from?
Well, in that video, I was actually icing, so my feet were in the tub. I was icing my knees. I didn't really want to get up. But in my mind, there's nothing really to celebrate yet. There's still a lot of work to be done.
Where Ian?
Ian O'Connor with The Athletic. Jalen, you obviously had experience in this building in the Big East and with the Mavericks, but for someone who's never experienced it, can you describe what it's like to be a home player, a star player in this building?
I've always said this, and I felt the amount of love from this fan base and from the city since day one. I think it's grown over the years. I'm so thankful and so honored to be able to cross my chest. Trade that figure for you in the world.
Sort of the Africa. I'd like to go back to 2016, 2018 and Villanova. If you have some memories that are coming in these finals from what happened those years, and you particularly, if you have any influence also about what happened with Phoenix in 2021. your last experiences with this kind of scenario?
Yeah. Yeah, in college, I guess, being, winning championships, yeah, it's pretty much it, just being together, being a team, and playing hard and trying to do the right thing. At finals, yeah, just same situation, being up 2-0. Yeah, just gotta keep fighting. I think we do a great job as a team of always, know that 0-0 after every win. But staying locked in on just on the next game.
Zach, fourth row on the left.
Look, what do you remember about that finals when you're up 2-0, and have you kind of reminded your teammates that 2-0 doesn't mean anything?
Yeah, I just remember just losing 4 straight. That's what I remember out of that. And yeah, and they all know too. Just and they all understand as well. Just know that the series far from over. And we gotta keep being playing desperate and be a more desperate team. But we do a great job, and we understand that after every game, no matter what, it's always 0-0 at the end of the day.
Finals, losing, going from 2-0 up, stick with you for a while.
It's always gonna stick with you.
Fifth row on the right.
Hi, Mikhail. Chris Persian with Clutch Points over here. We talked earlier in the playoffs about the list of star guards that was building up that you were guarding. Now you got some young kids in the mix. The Slash brothers in San Antonio. What challenges have they presented, and what challenges have you felt you've had to adjust to defensively throughout this series thus far?
Yeah, no, all the guards. I mean, all the players got a really good team. But their ability, to use their speed, quickness, and I think just physical, and they can finish really well. Great challenges. Just guard them as a team, and help each other out. Obviously, you got 5 guys out there on the tandem, but just playing good team defense. But they got a lot of great players over there.
I don't think people understand what's about to happen to Jordan. They're up 3-0 right now. I'm making this video 1 win away from the finals. If this city actually wins it all, it's actually going to lose its entire mind. Like, if Oklahoma City is going to be outside, you can already picture how it's going to be. But anyways, here's the fun part about it. You can trade on all of it. You can call sheets. You can take positions on New York going all the way. Who wins the finals MVP. Like, you can trade virtually anything in the playoffs this year thanks to Cal. And that's the whole thing with Cal. It makes it super easy and honestly really fun.
Chris over here on the right.
Jalen, Chris Maddox, Sports Illustrated. You were drafted the same year as Jalen in 2018. I wonder what you were thinking when you saw him kind of slip all the way to the second round. What do you think teams didn't kind of appreciate about him at that time?
Yeah, I think just I think sometimes when it leads up to the draft, I think like measurements and stuff and all them things, it's just too important for teams. Besides sometimes just watching basketball, and I don't know how much more he has to do. Winning player of the year, national player of the year, leading his team to the championship. So just I'm not a GM or anything, but I don't think I would make him wait all the way to the second round.
John in the middle.
They've had a lot more transition opportunities than you guys have had in this series, but they haven't scored very efficiently in those transitions. Can you tell me about your y'all's defensive philosophy, getting back and not ceding anything easy?
Yeah, they're a really good transition team, and you gotta get back, show bodies, and I think we still got to do a way better job. I know what you're saying. It might sound like for us, I still think we got to do way better. I don't think we, up to what we're supposed to be doing as a team defensively in transition. We just got to obviously do some good things, but I think there's a whole lot of room to get better.
Christian over here, second row.
First one from New York, somebody to take you back for that. If one of you doesn't throw the ball, if his teammates back, the end of the game could be different. Just when you think about that fourth quarter, and you think about the game as a time, some other areas that you feel like that's need to move on for game 3.
Yeah, just gotta be better whole fourth. Shot selection, defense, transition defense. They can have transition defense in that fourth quarter itself. And keep going. Can't get too comfortable. We had a good lead, but we know how the league works. and being this far, playing against a really good team, no league's ever safe. But yeah, I think a poor fourth by us. Obviously, all that happened and had our resiliency to stay together and stay mentally locked in and still find a way to win. But you can't do that to a team. That's that good. Give those chances like that. Gotta be way better.
Where are you on the front?
Hey Miguel, Sergio Andres Prime Video on Draftados Spain. Obviously you've played a lot of big games in your career so far. I was just curious, where would you rank Game 3? It's the NBA Finals tomorrow at Madison Square Garden. And also, I guess every group of players wants that 0-0 mentality, what's been different about this group? How have you guys kept going 13 times now?
You said game 3. We haven't played yet, so I'm not sure. Read that one, but what did you say it was? What was the 2 and 3 part 2 and 3? I think the end was something about winning straight. Personally, I think we really don't care too much about the winning streak or anything like that. Because all that's in the past. I think we just, to us, it's 0-0, and we just try to take it one game at a time. And our most important game is the next game because it's our next game. So not really too worried, not really focused on that. We just try to take it day by day and attack that game.
All the way in the back right.
Peace, Mikael. It's Jada from Joe and Jada. You had a little slump offensively early in the playoffs, but then you got back in your bag. How important was it for Coach Brown and the staff and your teammates to stay down with you?
Yeah, very important. Just help me just stay in the right mindset. But yeah, they helped me out a lot and just stay together as a group and the biggest goal is to win. So personally, I think I got to be the best version of myself for us to have a chance.
Question all the way in the back left. Okay.
Go ahead.
Jeremiah, nice to meet you. Good question for you. What did it take each and every day to go out there and play 82 games for 6 years straight?
Yeah. Just want to be out there. You know what I'm saying? Want to grow every day, be better. It's kind of how I was raised, kind of how I went to high school, college. My coaches always, preach playing every game. You banged up a little bit. They make you play. So just having that mindset, I don't know. I think subconsciously, knowing how the league goes is, never, the more I think about it, never ever kind of leave a window open for somebody to take your spot. I think that's kind of been subconsciously staying on my mind ever since I first got in the league. I always play no matter what. I think that's just, another aspect that kind of, got to me was always just, you never know. You never know how, you might go out for a week or two and maybe the next guy step up and maybe the team play better. And then maybe now the coaching and the franchise, the organization might look at you a little bit different. So kind of I think that's subconsciously always in the back of my head and just try to stay out there and compete, at all times.
Last question, back right.
Hey, Miguel, Leandro Carranza from NBA Latin America. The Spurs look different this series so far. So I'm curious, do you label yourself as a team that makes the other team adapt to your game plan? Is that your biggest strength?
We should go out there and just play hard and follow what we got to do. And, I'd say we worry more about ourselves than what we got to do to be better. Yeah, pretty much that.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody. Okay, first question, second row.
Hey Josh, Sam Brock with NBC News. You've obviously played in a lot of home playoff games at MSG, but nothing like what we're about to see Monday night. What do you anticipate?
I mean, the Garden going to be rocking. Obviously,
in the city of Lower Knicks. So they're gonna come out, show love and support, and energy's gonna be electric.
When you, also, Josh, when you walk around the city and you see everybody wearing Knicks gear, subway stations are painted orange and blue, the atmosphere is electric. What does that feel like as a player?
To be honest, I'm not doing too much of walking around the city right now. It's to see. It's cool. For me, I try to be as far removed from that as possible. Just mentally, just because you walk around the city or you go to different places and people are singing your praises and doing all that, it's very easy to get complacent and to listen to those things and start feeling good, and then you start relaxing. So for me personally, I try to stay as far away from that as possible. Even if I go to I go to dinner, I'm gonna try to go into like a private room or something so I don't have to be around that, because you want to make sure you're as focused and locked in on the goal at hand.
Thanks for the left, Brian. Brian on the Associated Press. Hey Josh, I remember a while back you had signed on as like an ambassador for the local World Cup committee. Did you ever have to tell them like, sorry, I didn't finish with my day job in time? And this is just starting this coming week. Could you imagine that we get to this point and there might be something in New York that's sort of keeping attention away from that right now?
I'm a big, I love football, man. So obviously, a little bummed I can't go to some of those matches, but I have something a little more interesting right now going on in my life. So it also adds to the energy of the city. So I think it's something that's really cool. Like I said, bummed I can't go to some of that stuff, but World Cup's always a special time, and obviously now that's in the States, it's super cool. So hopefully at some point I get to some matches.
They're group blessed.
Josh, those of us that have been around you guys every day, we know the process that it's taken to have the kind of level of connectivity you guys have shown these playoffs. Just from your vantage point, how would you describe kind of like that journey as a team? Obviously, I think you guys always try to make it very clear that you guys are in the process of trying to get there. It wasn't always as good as maybe you guys made it seem. But how can you describe it for just the journey that's been?
Yeah, obviously that started in Abu Dhabi, or right before Abu Dhabi. We talk about what our goals are, what our staples are, and what the habits we're trying to build are. And in an 82-game season, there's a lot of peaks and a lot of valleys. And I think that what's important thing is just to stay even, no matter what it is, because especially in the city, it's tough. Like I say, you hear praises, you get complacent, and then you go down, and then you start hearing talk and chatter if you lose one, 2, 3 games. So it's been a lengthy process. I think right now we're in a very good mindset of doing our habits, playing our brand of basketball, and not really worrying about the outside noise or the accolades or individual performances. Barbara?
Hey Josh. Obviously having been around for a couple of years, you guys are used to the craziness of the Garden and Knicks fans. Do you think that kind of helps you? People are going to say, some people are saying this may be the craziest NBA game played ever. The rights of the tickets, the celebrities, the president, everybody was going to be here. Do you think you're able to uniquely block that out just because you've had a lot of craziness before?
I don't think so. For me personally, especially in college, Coach Wright always talked about we play for the guys in the locker room, and we don't really play to the crowd. And so for me, I feel like I'm able to kind of tune that out pretty well, just because that guy instilled in me those 4 years of in college, but the environment, the atmosphere is going to be electric, obviously, and we're happy that we're at home and we have them in our back. I kind of wish the ticket prices weren't as crazy as they are. I feel like a lot of people who are been waiting for this moment for a very long time, unfortunately aren't able to get into their building with, but the cheapest ticket, $7,000-$8,000. So that's ridiculous. This should still be rocking, but obviously, those are a little cheap.
First round middle Christian. Just Christian went through the daily news. So if he doesn't throw the ball off his teammates back down the stretch, then the end of the game might be different. When you look at the film, just what are some things that you guys think that need to clean up for game 3?
I mean, execution for sure in the fourth quarter. I feel like we played a little bit slower. Transition defense wasn't as crisp as it was in the first 3 quarters. So I think if we focus on that, rebounding, we'll be good. In terms of that play, you never know, we could go down and get a stop, and so you never know what what play can change a game. But for us, we know that we have to be better. I think we're up like 14 at one point in that fourth quarter, and I think we were the best fourth quarter team in the league. So we got to make sure we're locked in and executing in that regard.
Last question, first row on the right, Dan.
Dan Devine, Yahoo Sports. Just different franchises sometimes are defined by like a style of play. This team's got this kind of identity. Showtime Lakers, fast breaking teams, stuff like that. As you've grown up in the game and then been here, is there an identity that makes for a great Knicks team? When you think of the Knicks over the time, what kind of makes for a great Knicks team?
Toughness, grit, physicality, energy, clutch plays. I think that's what you think of when you think of, Knick basketball. That's something that we want to do. We want to come out with energy. We want to come out with physicality, and be focused on the game plan and go out there, and especially with the guys that we have in the locker room. We're gonna make plays. We're gonna make big plays. We're gonna do those kind of things, and that's kind of our brand, playing fast, and having fun.
Thanks, Josh.
Appreciate it.
Okay, first going to second row right here in the middle.
Hey, OG, Lee McKeown from Sports Illustrated. Nice to meet you. Jalen's numbers offensively obviously haven't been quite up to what he's capable of, but he's still stepped up and made huge shot after huge shot for you guys in the clutch. As an elite defender yourself, can you speak a little bit to what makes it just so hard to guard him?
Just he's a lot of counters. He's relentless. Doesn't matter if he's missing shots or making shots. He's always the same way, always composed and poised, and always aggressive.
Second question right here.
Hey, OG, Sam Rock with NBC News. Obviously, Victor Wembanyama presents a physical player that the league has never seen before. But the strength that you brought to the table and also the connectivity of all of your front court players seems to have been a counterpunch so far to that. What version of Wemby are you expecting for Game 3?
The usual, aggressive, talented, relentless, the usual Wemby.
Third row in the middle.
Hey, OG, Noah with Booster Report. I want to know what you're looking forward to most returning to the Garden for Game 3.
Just the fans, I know it's going to be crazy. They're always behind us, always happy and excited, and it's just going to be really cool.
First row.
Hey OG, Scott Campbell with The Score. You guys are obviously on a generational heater right now. I'm curious from your perspective, what does that look like every day, being that level of locked in?
It's just something that starts in our film practices, what we talk with our coaches, everyone's on the same page, locked in, dialed in, focused on the same goal. You just take it day by day.
Is that something you can feel as you're building on this run?
Yeah, you can feel it, you can see it. Everyone's just dialed in right now.
Third row here on the left.
Hey, OG. That's a little better than I thought. Carol from Sparko. President's going to be in attendance tomorrow. We don't know if he's going to be courtside or in the suite, but how do you think his presence will affect the gameplay, and will it motivate you guys, or how do you think it'll affect the game?
I think we'll just be there watching the game with them. As usual, just play our game, keep the game. Any other questions for OG? Last row here on the left.
Hi OG, this is Hussein from Bahrain. We have seen the last game that there was some lead that Knicks had, some strong lead, but in the last minute things have changed despite the cost of the game. So how are you going to prepare to prevent that from happening?
Well, just same as usual, you know. Suppose the game wins, and that's how basketball goes. So just doing the usual, trying to be locked in for 48 minutes, and going